All right. Looks like we're connected. Just gonna wait and see this come up in the YouTube control room. Looks good. Cool. Yeah, back at it. Session 5. Last we left off, we had gotten to those different types of accounts in the left sidebar. And I gotta say, I did cheat a little bit. I wanted to do, after the last stream, just some really kind of boring work of collecting icons, but happy to show a little bit of that process. I just figured it wasn't great use of stream time. Yeah, just asset collection. So we'll get back into it. Switch scenes here. All right. Yeah, so you might notice if you watch the prior stream, this chunk is new. Gosh, and actually, I'm gonna need to do some housekeeping with these guys. We've got like groups. Yeah, this isn't gonna work. We're gonna need to collapse some of this stuff together, I think. Not that I'm gonna be, because I'm mimicking an existing interface, it's not gonna be a huge problem like preserving color overrides. I mean, as I'm swapping out stuff, I'm not gonna be yet, I think, trying to build any new concepts for YNAB. I first, like the big milestone is just get a library set up that lets me build a replica of what exists today. If we get to that point, maybe then we can explore, trying some new ideas with the existing component library. But yeah, I do want to follow kind of best practices and demonstrate them. That's kind of the purpose of the stream, and one of those would be to not have icons that look like this. All these different layers, because that's how you mess up your color overrides when you're swapping between stuff. But wanted just to say, I collected all these guys. How did I do it? Well, what I was doing, I did find one plugin. There's a lot of plugins out there about exporting SVGs from Figma, but I didn't find too many good ones for importing them, except for one. So use the quick search here. What was it called? PasteSVG. Unfortunately, dark mode, you can't really see the logo too well, but it's like a little north-facing pen tool with a path over it. It's great. And the way it works is you can use inspect to grab a path. For example, if I was grabbing, let's see. And I must have done this for the logo because I already had this plugin installed. But yeah, if I was grabbing this little like document icon. Okay, well this one isn't gonna work. I did run into this a few times where I did not get like an SVG. I got like something else. And I was just drilling into stuff until I got to these paths. So let's get an interesting shaped path, like maybe this kind of rooftop of this little government building. So you get down to the path tag, you copy, come back into Figma, SVG, paste SVG, and then this is where you can paste your path. You hit create and it'll plop it onto the canvas. So I had to do that. This is made up of many paths. It's not one big thing. But yeah, that's how that guy got built. And I think I've got that floating around somewhere. Oh, let me undo. I might have... There it is. Okay. Yes. Misplaced. So let me group these guys just to move them all over. So yeah, these are necessary because for our accounts, our different types of accounts, I can say from personal experience, I know that there are icons that show up to the right of these, total sum amount for that account to show, at least when you're linking the account. We made these last time just to test out, how many different types of accounts there are, and there's just the 3: budget, loans, and tracking. And they are being dealt with manually because they're fictional, right? But if you choose to like actually have these set up and connected to your actual bank account, there's a little status icon to the right that shows you, you know, whether that connection's been interrupted recently, and that's important to know so that way you can know kind of when or if, you know, YNAB is watching for new transactions, or if you need to like fix the connection, stuff like that. So we're missing a status icon, and you can also see when I hover over it, we also get this little like edit icon. If I wanted to edit the name of the account, bring in notes, you know, that kind of stuff. So yeah, and then just while I was at it, just decided to grab all the icons. Was looking for all and any icons that I saw, including some of these buttons, you know, these chevrons, stuff in here, just anything I could find just to have the bunch. Oh, I did not grab these. That'll have to be a later date, but yeah. To continue with the sidebar, I think what we're going to need to do is start making those components for these lists. So like if we wanted to represent, you know, this kind of a setup where we've got 3 different budget accounts, 3 different loans, and then 1 tracking account, we're going to have to make these items. So let's see what's going on. Oh, that's interesting. This looks like where that icon shows up, the edit icon. Okay. And I don't think I have that made yet, right? Yeah, we've just got these swappers. So we have this kind of accordion functionality. Let's see. Let's actually... Okay, instantaneous. So no smart animate here. Okay, and clicking on that whole thing, even the padding. What I'm kind of rethinking about the structure of this right now is that this container is probably where the padding ought to be. And this should be set to hug, so that way this has a bigger click area. I also see that we're gonna need to, I mean, I guess we don't need to reflect that. I think we tested this. Did we test it last time? Let's just test it right now. Okay. Oh, we're gonna need to flip back. And let's override something. That's looking good. But this whole frame shouldn't be the thing that's clickable. That's incorrect. So we've got 8 on top and bottom. Just for consistency. I mean, I guess we don't need to... It's working fine. I don't want to introduce a frame if our overrides are being preserved, but that's, I guess, like an old habit is, you know, I know that Figma is watching for similar layer structure to preserve overrides, so I'm inclined to match these things. You can see that the container is necessary here, so we can change our auto layout settings to be running vertically on this entire variant as opposed to this one where they're running horizontally. Yeah, so I think what we'll do instead is take away the padding 0 and the space between, And instead, we'll say 8 for top and bottom here. So that fixes that. And then what have we got? 16 and then 24 on the right. So let's also do that for the container. 16, 24. Ooh, but then how do we get this guy over? The easiest solution would be to wrap this in its own container, but I'm trying to figure out a way to do it where we don't have to add a frame. And if we add 16 there, that only pushes this over. I need, this is our clickable thing. So, I could zero that out, but that's kind of odd, yeah. Okay, I think we're gonna have to sacrifice a little bit of click area, so we're just gonna undo. We'll keep it this way. Yeah. And then this will be what we click to get back. So now that's the whole hit area. Oh, I might have 2 interactions. Yeah. And now this is the hit area. So that's a little bit more appropriate because this purple box, right, is going to get swapped out for like checking account, savings account. So we don't want clicking on those items to collapse this. Great. Okay, well that's set up. And then styling those. I imagine we're not using this font. Yeah, it looks like it could be similar style, not section. Oh, bank account name. So glad I set those up early. So like we've got checking. Dollar amount. For these ones, yeah, we'll just have it one text object. Obviously, they'll be in an auto layout frame running horizontally. And then we have to account for, right, these icons. We know that we can see that there's one here. And I can say from personal experience that in the event that there's like it's getting tracked, we have to leave space for icons here as well. Right now, this is set to hug. How tall is this? 33 pixels. How tall are these? 32. We're off slightly. That might mean our line height is incorrect. What happens if we just take that down 1? Okay, great. We've got a pencil icon. Okay, now it's not, we can no longer avoid this. So here's that pencil icon, huge, and also really weird decimal numbers, right? 43.97 by 44.03. That's going to be the case with some of these other ones too. Like we've got a 30 by 16, 24 by 20. We want our icons to all be standard sizes, ideally. So that way, or at least in like a square frame. So that way they're really easy to change out with others. So yeah, I think starting here, I might just need to do the icon cleanup work. So to start with that, I'm gonna just get these actually. Hold on, let's try and really get these in a list or some sort of like organized setup. Okay, and we'll just work our way. So this one's already great. It just says vector, 12 12 by 12. YNAB does have quite a few small icons. I'm inclined to have this be the standard size for things. And then if we need to scale up, we can. So like this one, for example. We'll have that be 12 by 12. We'll name it vector. This is a group. Let's flatten that. So that's vector. Vector, vector, vector. Check mark. Really odd shape. Oh, and let's maybe name these as we go. Or turn them into main components at least. Okay, now this one, this super odd guy. I'm gonna hold down Command to stretch this to be the right size, and then we'll select the vector shape and center it. And maybe kind of optically adjust. Oh, it's a weird one. We can always come back to that, but yeah, that's fine. All right, great. This is great. We can just shrink that down, 12 by 12. Let's get this down to 12 on its longest or shortest side. Wrap it. Oh wait, no. On its longest side, and then add 2 pixels. That's a really easy one. Okay. It's gonna start to get more difficult soon. Let's keep this proportional. Oh. Okay. Yeah, again, I'm not gonna worry super much about like the alignment and stuff yet. These ones are tricky. So I don't do a lot with icon design. It's like not my thing. These duotone icons. So they came in like this, right? But we know in the app, and where was this? Let me get rid of inspect for a minute. Oh, there we go. This guy, reports. It's this. I'm wondering if, can we get zoom in even more? I'm wondering if they're like a tint. Let's get in shadow root, symbol. Yeah, these are all different paths. Let's find out. For one of these paths, what's going on with the colors. So this one has a white fill. I'm trying to look for something like opacity. I don't think it's in here. Like, what if I change this to just black? Yeah. Okay, I don't see anything showing me that this is an opacity situation, but changing the fill to just black kind of is suggesting, because like look, it's not like every single path is an opaque color that I just overrode. We still can see these like little, you know, these look like stacked dollars, and there's some in the background. Those are faded out. So what I'm struggling with this is that I want all these icons to be one flat shape, but let's just experiment with it. Let me get a copy of this. What happens if we flatten this group? Oops, Command E. That's what I want. So now we've got a vector. Can I still take this and let's see if we can match. Like, I'll just highlight this path and then drop the opacity, what, to 50? That looks pretty... Oh, no. It's a touch too light. Let's... 45 is close. 46, 42. Oh. 40. Okay, I think I overshot it. I think it's 40 on the nose. So now, does that do it? Now we've got... Oh, but now we've got different selection colors happening. Right? Like if I change this to red, I'd also have to... Okay, it's not great. But I wonder how people handle that. Oh, I don't want to go back to having to use like a mask like back in Sketch. That just seems so... I hated doing that. But that might be how duotone icons work. Oh well, I think for now, I'm just gonna stick with that. We will flatten this, and what was, yeah, 40%. So now we can do that same thing with all of these paths. This one's gonna be a little trickier. Those are 40, but these guys are overlapping. So give me those. I'm just gonna select individual nodes from here. Right? No. 40. Oh, shoot. How's this gonna work? Okay. Undo. I think I might need to do a little bit of like SVG cleaning up. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so we're back to group 3. I'm just gonna peel off a copy this time before I start doing stuff. So we want this shape. We need to like take a slice off of this. Let's just move one of those on standby. And can we use this to subtract? Yeah. Great. And then we can move this back in. Oh, geez. Snap. That looks good. And now... Oh, there's still the tiniest overlap. I'm gonna do it. I just have to edit those guys. Or, oh, you know what? Okay, here's how we're gonna do this. We're just gonna move this like way down for now. Now we can turn... Now we can flatten everybody. Safely select this bunch. 40%. Safely select this bunch. I hope. Can I use shift to... Yeah. Grab those other guys. And now move that up. Haha. Okay, cool. Not so bad. Oh, and we're gonna want to turn the pixel grid snapping back on. Okay, that's like a third of them. Just keep going. Flatten that. Oh, that was already flat, actually. So we'll just 12. Gonna have to name these at some point. This one's easy. Okay, same deal with this one, but at least we don't have any shapes touching. Oh, whoa. Okay. So we can just flatten that. Oh, wow. And this one's already kind of done it for me, probably because, again, the shapes aren't touching, so that's super handy. Oh, but it's warping as I... Ugh, that sucks. Let me scale it down instead. 12 on its longest side. Oh, nope. Stop. Hopefully this one... Nah, it's not the same I was expecting. I was hoping to see the same color situation in here. And these guys are touching, so we're gonna have to just scoot some pieces out of the way. This one's a little bit more straightforward at least, so we can... That's weird. So I flattened it. You can see it's obviously gray, but we've got, you know, all zeros at 100% over here. So what's up with that? What's up with this? Ah! Oh my gosh. Okay, we're gonna undo again. Group 8. These are registering as totally all black, but not presenting as such on the canvas. Ah, man. Okay, I will save that one for later. I don't want that to get in our way, and I'm actually just gonna get on with the pencil icon because I promised that this was gonna be a stream about getting this piece done, and this is the piece that we need. We're gonna need this one too. Let's refresh the page. We're going to need it for all accounts. We need the document, we need the bar graph, we need the stacked dollars. We already have the logo handled, plus sign in a circle, and then the little wrapped present and this collapse arrow. We've got that chevron. Oh, do we have that chevron? Did we? Yeah. Oh, and I made it myself, I think. I think I remember doing that. So, but that's cool. We can swap it out if I can grab it. So done, 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 done. This is being weird. Plus sign. It's not this one though. Okay, I'll have to grab that. Oh, this is a little weird one. Okay, probably gonna have to do that by hand. Just holding down command to crop. And let's make this 12 by 12 so we got an accurate thing happening. definitely not that. Round. Give me round endpoints. Come on, for all of them. Round. That looks a little too much. Must be something like 1.5. Oh, it's so close. You know what? I'm not gonna be that picky. Um, so let's not flatten, let's outline the stroke, then flatten. Great, so we've got our plus, already named vector. Oh my gosh, actually before I proceed, gotta rename these. But do we have everybody? I think that was it. I might have to trace these. That's gonna be super annoying and I don't want to. Oh, here it is. Oh my gosh, pass through at 40%. Ah, secret unexpected settings. Let me select these and do 100%. What we actually want is for their fill to be, I wonder actually, oh my god, no, that's the way. That's how you handle your duotone icons. So, you know, here, oh, yeah, totally, totally, totally. So this should be 100%, but it should be passing through, not the whole thing though. Can I isolate this? Can I tell you guys to pass through at 100? Ooh, shoot. Okay, hold on. Let's get back to an okay state. Oh, let me undo these. Okay, great. Need to remember to like grab copies of things before I get too excited. Okay, so these are passing through at 40, but these are passing through at 100. They're able to do that because right now they're separate layers, but if I collapse this, okay, no, this was, yeah, same thing. So I can't make this pass through. Yeah, oh, because it's at the layer level. Of course, of course. Okay. What do we do about that? I wonder if we can use, I do want to flatten it, like I want one layer, but I wonder if there's something in the shape building. Like if we unionize that whole thing, we've still got stuff. Oh, golly. Vector. And let's also flip it. So now if I grab these, you know, this should be, no, I must have flattened it at some point accidentally. Oh yeah, union. Okay. So grab this, grab this. These are their own layers. They're passing through at 100%, but they're also the wrong color. Like, can I... Ah, oh, that's even stranger. Okay, well, shape building tools aren't going to work. Okay, never mind. This has not been solved. So I think what I have set up here, where the fill of shapes being different colors is still the best bet, but all right, really quickly, just to name these, I do want to see what names they're using, but I will probably, well, I don't know. If they're using great names, no need to come up with new ones. Progress bars on, progress bars off. Okay. These are icons, so first let's just batch rename these. Key check line. We've got a whole bunch of different checks. That's why I'm saying line. Like this could be like check filled circle, I think there might even be a third check at some point, but information, collapse, sidebar. Actually, does that flip also when we collapse it? Yeah, so let's sidebar, collapse, sidebar, expand. Referral. No, that's not how we name icons. We name them after the physical object they represent. It's being used for like a referral link, but let's call that a gift. We'll call this bar graph, stacked dollars. There's another one of these. So we'll say vertical. This looks like kind of the floor. So this would be stacked dollars. Oh, it's vertical, but it's also, it's upside down. Right side up. It's maybe a long name. This would be like a document. This would be check circle. This would be pencil. We've got plus circle. And that's as far as we got. So let's put this with our collection of other icons. And make sure that everything is using white. And we can clean these up. And also looking at our past ones, yeah, I want to remove auto layout on these. Rid, again, I mentioned last time, Rid, the creator of Figma Academy. Let's outline these strokes. Has a video publicly available about icon management, and I think it's a really good method, so I'm going to be borrowing that great idea. Okay, so we'll outline those. These want to be 12 by 12. We'll center this. Oh, but is that going to mess us up? Where are those being used? These guys. Yeah. 8 by 8. Okay, we can still, we're fine. Yeah. And just override that. I still think having 12 by 12 is going to be helpful. Just so everything's even. When we swap stuff out, it's all in the right spot. Okay, this guy is the last one that needs some cleaning up. Make that 12 on its longest side. Oh. It's not quite centered optically. We'll be okay. Where do those get used? That's where that gets used. Is that where these get used? Icon caret down, yeah. Ooh, they look a little squashed and stuff. Ugh, I might have to do a whole like icon cleanup stream. Everything's in the right place for now, so I'm okay. We'll be okay. yeah, this isn't, all right. Not gonna focus on it. Let's do these accounts. Let's get these done. I want to swap those in. All right, we need our pencil icon. That's what we're missing. Drop that into frame 2. Let's get these aligned the right way. We don't need 52 space between. It's probably something more like 8. We also want this to be filling all available space. What happens when we... Yeah, we do get some truncation. So let's actually not have that be set to fill. Well, yeah, fill, but we've got that new truncation option. So as, no, not my padding. As this shrinks down, yeah, still set to fill, but yeah, that's awesome. Okay, great. So let's check out our spacing. The icon, 5 pixels on the right, 8 on the left, which we can handle at the parent container. And we've got 8 there. That's 5. Suppose we could just change the space between to 5. And then what about this guy? These appear to have 0 space between them. But they kind of... There is a little bit... There's like this... I think I'll leave it be. But I don't know what that's doing because it's not a margin. Okay, right. And then we've got an icon over here. We can use the placeholder for the time being. But similar setup it looks like, except 8 on both sides. So here we're gonna need 8 pixels that way. I wonder if these should maybe be wrapped in a frame so that way we can do... Let's see. That could be 5 pixels. This could also have... We can take care of our 5 pixels that way. That's going to give us 13, so we'd actually want 3 here. Or 8? Oh, math. Okay. It's a little complicated, but I think that gets us, you know, to be accurate. And then this, we want to fill all available space. Fill. Yes. Okay, cool. And it wants rounded corners. All right. Let's turn on hover. Oh, it's the rems for the border radius. Okay, so we're gonna have to kind of guess. What have we used elsewhere? 6. Let's just be consistent. We'll give that 6. Okay. Great. So we've got our first budget item. Now, what's going on with it? So, oh, and this has like a... Oh, wow, cool. Okay, so we're gonna have like a double hover state thing. It's like you're hovering over the whole item, but then when you're specifically hovering over the pencil, that's changing color. And TBD about this linked account. Probably between streams, I'll set one of these up. I'll play with it to like pretend it's a linked account. I'll see if there's a way I can do that. But have it be like purposefully busted, so I'm not using mine or anyone else's real banking information. Yeah, okay, cool. Let's do it. So we've got our default state, our hover state. I think we have that fill color sorted out already. What is it over here? It's probably the same. We've got teal 700. We'll make this the hover state. There it is. And we'll do the same treatment where we've got transparency, but then we're giving it a fill. Oh, and the focus state. Yeah. Oh, interesting. Maybe there's like something about... Oh, let's zoom out. Maybe there's something about like keyboard navigation that I'm not very good at it, but it looks like we can only get to those items. Like I can't, how do I like, go down a level? I will leave out the focus state for now, but let's figure out this thing. Oh, that's not what I wanted. I want to know, did I just, yeah, there's a modal, get out of here. What is the pencil icon doing? Okay, first, let's make that hover. Then we can look at this. I think I messed with too much stuff, so I'm going to go in there again. Set that to hover. Look specifically at this icon. I'm looking for opacity, but I don't see it. Let's just take a screenshot and we will eyeball it. So instead of a white fill, we can detach from that. I bet it's an opacity. 70% looks, maybe it's 65. $69. Great. Okay, so then we've got that, but then back where it's using it's full white. So we've got a component set here where we are hovering, and then specifically here, hovering. And these are all for, like, we'll eventually swap this icon out, but I think we're gonna have, let's see, this would be like account. What are these? These are links. These are links. Nav account row. Let's call it account row. And these are interface representatives. So I want to use the icon. We'll plug. Recently published a lengthy blog post about interface representatives. These are very familiar components, but there's a framework, like a kind of like a thinking framework I'm trying out when thinking about Figma components that help us, you know, help me at least, and I hope helpful to other people. Just think about like what jobs they're doing and getting kind of explicit about that. I think it could help us work with a lot more precision. Great, so we've got account row, but we know there's different kinds of account rows, and never will, let's see, like, this pencil icon is going to be true for both of those kinds, but I'm hesitant to use variants for like another 3 variants and like a toggle switch for like, is this a connected account or is it a manually managed account, which is what all of these are, because we know that variants load in the background when you use them, right? Like frame 3, yeah, this isn't yelling at me, I think, about conflicting property names. So like when I drop this onto the canvas, these 2 other variants are like waiting in the wings. So I can, when I switch to these other variants, it's like instantaneous. There's like no wait time. So I'm kind of resistant to using variants like for anything beyond interactive components. That totally makes sense, but like stuff beyond that, I really want to be conservative with it, I think. So we can maybe say that this is an account row manual for like manually managed, and then we have an account row for synced. I believe that's the terminology. And for manually managed, we don't need these icons. We will need this space to be held though. So let me just duplicate and draw a couple. Yeah, we'll just keep one as like reference. Oh, wow, wait, why is it doing that? Why is it truncating? What's up with you? Did I, oh my gosh, there's a soft return. That's wild. That's really strange. That's cool to know about. When you have a text object that is using Figma's new truncation feature, you got to watch out for soft returns because it'll pick it up and treat it as something that needs to be truncated. So pro tip, that's how you fix it. Just get rid of your soft returns. All right. Yeah, so that's the reference. So for these, we can delete the pencil icon because these are manually managed. They don't have that, but we do want this to be these, these dollar amounts to be nudged over. So let's select all 3 of these, work efficiently here. Keep going. Looking good. All right, that was it. Get rid of our reference. Great. So now we've got these, this will get swapped out. I think this is what the key is. It's a synced account, and sometimes there is like a little warning sign or something when they are not synced. So, and that could be, let's see, instead of pencil, let's use key. Oh, and let's just work with everybody here. Oh, Molly Helmuth. This is a trick I learned from one of her Figma threads. Was because again, like synced, representing that with a key versus like, oh, there's a problem with your synced account, representing that with like a little warning sign. I don't think I would use another 3 variants for that because that's kind of like a little bit bloaty for this component. Instead, I think what I would do is take the key icon and then this eventual warning sign one and like rewrap them, recomponentize them, put dots in front of them. Like they would be maybe content carriers. What would they be? I think they would be content carriers. The way I'm defining those different types of components. And then what you could do is use component properties to, just toggle between those 2 things. So you're saving, you're saving yourself from having to build more variants, but the component is still really usable. So that is going to be a note for my future self. I'm not going to do that right now because I don't have the warning sign icon, but we've got our synced accounts and our manual accounts. This is great. Okay, and following my own rules here, this shouldn't say checking. Label is good. Label's a good name for it, but instead of checking, let's have this say account name. And we'll do that across the board. Label is good here in the layers panel, but I want the text to suggest what data goes here. Same with this one. Like we can see like, okay, you're expecting a dollar amount. That's great, but it's probably not 000, you know? And that's also like a kind of label, I suppose. For frame 3 though, let's just call this container. Same over here, container. How's the rest of this looking? Oh, let's name our properties first of all. So we're dealing strictly with interactive states, and let's be consistent with our naming elsewhere. State, it's just state. Wonderful. State, do the same here. State. We've got default, hover, row, and we'll call this one hover pencil. Oh, we've already got that one done. Hover row, hover pencil. All right. Cool. I think we got what we need. So, and just to take them for a test ride, let's put this in a black frame. I just want to make sure that the overrides are good, especially for like switching between the accounts. So we'll change this back to say checking. Let's maybe change it to our hover pencil state. And then if we swap between manual and synced, great, that works beautifully. We can build now, well, and I won't do it here. I'm not going to swap these in here. I think that, oh, we got to get these icons in. You know, this component would get used when you're maybe building like a YNAB screen. The placeholders suggest like, hey, you gotta put some stuff in here. And it wouldn't be wrong to just put like maybe 3 account rows in here. And then if folks wanted to, for example, like, let me just grab these 2 and we'll put those in. Oh, I guess not there, but here instead, right? Actually, let me make a 3rd variant here. Like the other way of doing this. And this is where I think it's like really up to, you know, the team that's using. Oh, look at how nicely that works. The team that's going to be like using these things, like, you know, where you really want to probably just talk to the designers like, hey, you know, we've got some options for how we set this up. How do you want to do this? This would be another option where you've got like, here's a manually managed account. Here's a synced account as indicated by the little key. You know, do you want this where when you're working with the sidebar component, the expectation would be that, you know, you could, if you needed to add more accounts here, or you're only working with, you're not working with synced, you know, you can change this to manual, but if you need to add more accounts, like maybe you need 5, I think what you would have to do is, you know, make an additional 4 here, componentize it, my local accounts for my prototype, whatever you wanted to name it. And then what you could do is swap out one of these for my local accounts for my oh, that didn't work as expected. Oh, because it's fixed. And this is not using auto layout. Okay, that fixes that. Now you've got 5 accounts, but you kind of got this weird, I don't like doing it this way. I think it's kind of odd because you end up with a weird layer structure. We've got one of those actual rows, but then we've got this container frame with actual rows inside. And I think the hierarchy gets odd here, you know? Like this isn't how it would work in real life. And we just picked like an arbitrary number at the start, right? It was like, oh, let's just throw 2 accounts in there. You could put a bunch. I see people do this a lot. You know, I think it's a kind of dangerous way to go because of resource use, right? Resource use. This is probably less and less of a problem, and I'm still just scarred from past experiences, but you know, trying to buy insurance for the future. Instead, we might like say like, all right, let's just make like a bunch of these things. Like we're gonna have like 20 accounts. We're gonna make sure we're covered for edge cases where they've just got like tons and tons. How many do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, something like 16. And then you got this thing. And now what you have to ask designers to do when they're working with instances, here, let's get rid of this, make sure this is reset. Oh, no, we're good. Is, you know, they have to come in here and say like, oh, well, I only need like 4 accounts, and, you know, select all these layers and hide them. And these layers are going to be hanging out. And how expensive is one of these layers? 6. So 6 times 4 is 24. Great. All 24 layers are getting used for these visible instances. But then you've got how many that come on, layer counter. Then you've got 66 layers hanging out doing nothing. It's not a huge number, and I think for YNAB, like it's not like this area of the product sees a lot of movement. So I think if you really like to work that way, this would be the safest place to do that kind of thing. Where it's gonna get, where I think that would just be absolutely ridiculous to employ is for these much more like dynamic spaces where users, I mean, at least based on my own experience, like this big chunk in the middle, this is where folks are like rearranging stuff. They're moving things around, they're adding categories, they're editing categories. They might be hiding and removing them altogether. They're constantly like, this is a really dynamic space. And so to do that same method where you just like, let's make a category group and just put 100 categories in it, like that is going to get so expensive. And I would really, you know, really try and get people on board with the placeholder method. Like this is where this is so powerful, is you just hold space. You don't try and predict the future, and you let people work with the amount of data that they need to work with. I've got a lot of feelings on that one. So I'm gonna, since this is my project, I'm doing it my way. We're not doing this crazy thing. We are going to stick with the swapper. So that variant no longer exists, which means in here I will change back, reset to default, open. Oh, another piece of advice from Molly Helmuth that I thought was excellent is on these components where you're using component properties, give them like the kind of like closed or, you know, the most minimal state that you can. Don't show like every single option turned on. Let designers, I think in her words, said something about like, let them opt in to the properties that they need. So that way, like, you know, you're kind of starting clean slate, and it's an additive thing. And what's getting added are only going to be things that are valuable to that designer for that design that they're creating, rather than asking them, you know, clear out the junk. There's, especially if it's a complex component where there's a lot going on. So I think it's an excellent piece of advice. It's in another one of her threads, and she would be a great follow if you are not following her already. So where do we leave off? We've got our swappers. Let's see. We can drill in here. We can open these up if we want. At our top level component, we can, you know, say whether or not we have any loans, whether we're tracking anything. This is the other thing with the placeholders. Because we're using placeholders in those sections, if we hide these, we're not, like, how expensive is this? 7. It's so, oh my gosh, feather light. No big deal. Anyway, we've got our stuff. Let's say we do have loans. We are tracking. We've got our placeholders. We have the ability to grab instances of our account rows and make custom local components. These would definitely be content carriers, like something that looked like this. It was using auto layout, swapping in component 1 for your placeholder. Oh, snap. Let's, can we, did I enable, yeah, swappability. Let's name this account rows. Create property. So now, yeah, I'm just this last couple of weeks, I'm really starting to get my head around component properties. You have to drill in to get it, which isn't awesome, but you can swap out placeholder for, you know, component 1. Great. Obsessed. And then if you reset, like, yeah, no biggie. So let's do that. Let's reset. How many clicks does that take? We have to get into, we have sidebar left, sidebar resizer. Oh, I wonder if sidebar resizer should be absolute positioned. I'm not gonna go there. Yeah, it's a couple clicks to get down to these, but I think that's all right. Since I'm building this, I'm aware of all the intricacies, but I am trying to imagine, I am trying to make this as simple as possible. So I'm happy with it for now. All right, let's get some of these other icons in there. So budget is the little dollar, stack of dollars. So instead of down, let's go back. Stacked dollars, right side up. Get the bars. Oh. Bar graph. And then this guy, the tricky guy. Oh, toolkit reports. I keep forgetting to turn this off. This is like a third-party thing. I think I've mentioned this in past streams. But this is not official YNAB. This is like an add-on. So we need to get this little building, this classical building guy figured out. How do we do this? So we need 100%. Select these. Those down to 40. All right, that's it. That's our guy. Oh, it's a bit squished. I should have been using the scale tool across the board. I was not. So I am making some work for my future self, but this will probably require some cleanup. Having the icons all be white is not, I'm finding it not helpful in the asset panel and whatnot. So do we have black? Let's detach. I will treat those as overrides in other places. So anything we have here. Okay, in this case, we can just use our style. I want to do that wherever makes sense. Like these places where we don't have these duotone icons. Yeah, great. Okay, so that takes care of everything. And then for these guys too, we can just, as they come in, let's have that be white. Oh, what? Oh, what? It's not updating. It's not overriding. What's the deal? I can get that. Oh, I'm dying. Okay, hold on. Yeah, literally none of it. Okay, so this, we know we want that to be white. This, like, can I just do something absurd? Red? Nothing. Oh, it doesn't like overrides. Is that true anywhere? Let's just get something from the source. So, red. What? All right. That is going to be, that's going to require some further investigation. I will just leave a note to my future self. I saw on Twitter, somebody posted this really handsome, they recently, I can't remember their name, but they produce a really handsome icon library. And they have duotone icons in there, and they must have figured this out. So I'm gonna see if they have like a trial version of their file, or a free version, so I can just like investigate what that structure looks like. For now, I'm just gonna leave these looking as they are. It's unfortunate, but what about this one? Same story. All right, bummer. And then all accounts. Yeah, that's the. Oh, I don't think I named it, but we'll name it vector, or we know it's named vector. And icon classical building. All right, apart from our color mishap, this is looking like the real deal. Oh, except for we need our little referral call to action, and then this ability to collapse and expand it, which means that this whole sidebar is about to become an interactive component with, oh wow. I wonder if there's a way on inspect if I can slow down the animation. That's too fancy and beyond me, but you can see here that, like, you know, unlike these other, like these accordions where it's just instantaneous, there's no easing. When you click this, the labels disappear. The icons kind of like jump into this like center aligned position, and then they get pushed as the whole sidebar collapses. So I'm not going to animate it to do that. I'm going to see if I can make it a little bit smoother, because I think it's sort of, it's jumpy. It's like things like, you know, they slam into the middle and then they're quickly hurried over to the left. Oh, and this add account button. Let's do that next. Let's just work in order. Add account looks like it's using the same font size as our account rows. But side now. I don't think I made that a specific style. So what is that button? Add account. And I don't think this type of button shows up anywhere else. We'll have to see. Add account. Yeah, unless it's in... Oh, wait, you know what? You know where it might be? Because it looks kind of not like some of their new styling. It's kind of like these buttons. It looks really similar. Let's see if they share any styling. Button primary. Left button red. Cancel changes. Button primary. Okay, we have to close this. Button sidebar. I think they're kind of in the same family. This one... Oh, it's hard to know. How about their font size? That's kind of what I'm curious about. Font size is 1M. Font size is 0.8. Okay, different enough. I am going to keep it separate. Plus, get those in an auto layout frame. Need to be inspecting on this again. We've got, well, I don't care about the margin, but I do care about this 13 pixels of padding. Really odd number. That's okay. 6, I'm just gonna round that down. We're gonna do 6 over here. That seems kind of huge. So what's the overall height? 16. Well, I guess it's like 16 plus 6.4. So 22.4 pixels tall, which is not the case here. I think I'm going to detach that style and set that to auto. What do we get? 22. And I'm going to reduce. Yeah, we saw that it was like a slightly smaller size. 28. Let's see what the 8 rounded corners looks like, and let's give it a fill so we can see what's going on. This has a really light color. It's that one. And I don't think it's the 8 pixels for the rounded corners. It looks more like 4. Maybe 5. 6. And I think the font size is off. touch. Yeah, we'll do 14. Which, is that what this is? It is. Okay, but it's the line height of this that was incorrect. Great, so we've got one of these buttons. Whoa. We know we're going to need a hover state, we're going to need a focus state. On hover, it gets darker. Oh, it's not quite it. Oh, I don't have this color. Suppose we could add that. What would this be? This would be like teal. We have 700 and oh, I don't have these organized very well. Hold on. 600, 650, 700. Okay, that's an order that makes way more sense. So if we were going to add that, we've got I don't know, 725. Okay, and then our not visited. Focus visible is like the default state, but with the rings around it, and we have an effect for that, and that's our component. So this is one of many buttons. This would be button, add account, sidebar, add account. So we've got while hovering, and then we don't need to worry about the focus state, but we have it available. This is called label, that's great. And then just like our others, we've got our states. Great. It would be the right thing to do to call this the label and then override that once we put this, you know, where it needs to go, which is in here. Add account. Now, is that alignment correct? It looks like it. It's not so bad. Oh, kitty. I'm streaming. You can't be here. Please don't type. Okay, down you go. All right. So that's add account. Now we can get to this. So, and this is just gonna be an icon with a font style, like, and yeah, that's not gonna get reused anywhere else. So let's just grab our gift. We'll turn it white. Does anything happen when you hover over it? The whole thing like fades. Interesting. Okay. What does it say? Love YNAB? Pay it forward. Let's use this. Make it small. auto on the line height. Oh gosh, oh my gosh. Container. And then we've got our like sidebar collapse. Yeah. I guess you know, for interactivity's sake, like this will have to get componentized. I'm just gonna grab a screenshot so that way I can kind of test. Oh my gosh, where's my fill? I want the fill. Figure out like what that drop in opacity is. So instead of pass through, $70 is really close. I think it's 69 again. That's really fun. Okay. And we've got on hover. I'm gonna break my own rule here because this is just such a specific thing. Like it's both an interface representative and it's a content carrier. That's it. It's just a content carrier. So we can call this referral CTA. And I haven't been giving, yeah, that button, that's an interface representative. Referral CTA, though, is content carrier, and the symbol that we use for that, I forget. Let's just jump to the blog post. It's a pencil. That makes sense. Content. Great. So this we can also add in, and we'll add this guy in too. Now we know that these need to go in a container that runs horizontally. It's going to fill all available space. We want these items to be pushing each other apart. They are not in the right order and they should be centered. We'll swap those. And the behavior that we need to see here is that this is always going to hang out down at the bottom, which means that for all this to work, these need to be in a common container. So we'll wrap those in an auto layout frame that's pinned to the top, which lets us take this. Oh, not at that level though. Within the sidebar, take this. It's running vertically and say space between. And you can see when I did that, right? Undo, redo, it knocks this down to the bottom. So if this becomes a prototype frame, low starting point, sidebar test, let's see what our interactions look like. We've got a hover state here. Whoa! Why do we have double? Is that true? Oh my gosh. No way. Okay, that must be a bug. Like a really wild one. But we've got, yeah. That interaction working. This is working. Oh, this is way too small for sure. Don't need the blog post anymore. What size is that? 32 by 32. Great. Should be able to just size this up directly in here. 32. That's kind of massive feeling, but it seems right. And we know that, oh, okay. And you know what? I'm feeling good. It's been, started this at 1:30, so we're going on an hour and a half. But I think really animating this is going to be the last part, and so we are going to need to, yeah, figure some of that out. So we know what that looks like. We played with that already. We collapse, we expand. So what do we keep? All we get are our icons. So we're going to get rid of a lot of stuff. So if this second variant is our closed state, then we can swap this out. Oh, go to main component. Collapse, expand. So that means you need to get reversed. Great. So that gets swapped out. This whole section, gosh, these all get hidden. The referral, hidden. This, instead we can set to packed, and we can have it align this way. These guys, what are these gonna look like? Obviously we lose the labels. We're gonna lose our, what does the collapse view look like? Yeah. Those get hidden. Oh, and these are set to hug. Yeah, hold on, that should be set to fill. Same here, frame 3, which also just needs to get renamed. Just container for now. Same for frame 2. We'll call this, do they have a name for it? Referral program. Sidebar bottom. Yeah. Yeah, and what does this look like collapsed? I know that the icons aren't. Oh, well, I guess here's what needs to happen. And what is like the minimum width of this? Like, what is this width? 52 pixels, but really 55 because we have to account for our whatever it's called. So that means this should actually be centered. All of these guys need to get centered. Not quite at that level. Okay. What about that? Oh, fill. And we take away the padding. Same here. Fill. That should be set to fill up here too. Really gonna have to pressure test some of this stuff. Yeah, these. Fill. Why is it doing that? Frame 1. Fill. These as well. Fill. Let's just have them be, well, okay. Oh, I think I might be making a mess, but there we go, centered. And that makes sense actually for what like the animation does. And then, yeah. So that's it. And then the way that that happens for the prototype is when you click on this, we jump to that. When you click on this, goes to that. And this should have like a fixed width, right? Because this is very explicitly 55 pixels. So we're going from filling all available space. Oops, not you. Hi, kitty. So let's see what that looks like in our prototype. All right. I don't know if that's actually going to be where we want to set up the interaction. Um, let's instead. Oh, okay. I've got a cat on my shoulder. Let's see. Actually, okay. I'm gonna take um I'm gonna take a quick break because I need to take care of this cat and I'm also gonna get some water. But when I come back, I'm gonna sort out this this interaction and the smart animate stuff. So back soon. All right, back at it. So getting this to animate, I am not convinced that actually having the interaction happen within the component is going to be the place to do it. So what I'd like to try next, because this wasn't working very well, right? Like, and we're going to have a variable amount of content in here. Like this is set to hug currently, as is this. But when this actually gets like placed into a larger frame, right? Like if you were building this screen in Figma, this is probably going to fill all available space, which I could do. So they're set to 50-50, right? So now they're going to share the same height no matter what. Maybe that's the way. Let's try that first. Let's try that. Reset. Okay, that might have been the problem and the solution. So we've got instant. Instead, let's do smart animate. And let's just see what we get. Vanilla, smart animate. Whoa, too fast. I don't even know if that was like viewable on the stream. Let's have that happen over an entire second. What are we doing? For the stream, 60 frames per second. So hopefully this is seeable. Okay. Oh man, that's rough. Okay, let's work on that. And I think I need to clean up my layers in here. So let's start with this one. And also, I'm going to set these to be true for now, just so we can see everything. Let's give this a little bit more height. Okay. So we've got container and container. And we've got sidebar bottom, sidebar bottom. And oh, yeah, we don't want breakpoint. Let's for now what we're dealing with is really open versus closed, and since that's like a binary state, I think would be an appropriate use for a toggle switch. So we'll say collapsed, and by default that will be false, and then this will be true, right? Yeah. And what we're doing when we switch between those states is kind of hiding a bunch of stuff, changing some auto layout resizing rules, and repositioning some stuff. So let's first make sure that sidebar left is filling all available space, right? Because it needs to, yeah, sidebar's resizer is fixed. Is that true here? Fill fixed. This is set to hug vertically. I think that is appropriate. Yeah. Container, container, sidebar bottom. Cool. Now, once we get in here, we've got this guy filling. Let's go into outline modes just so we can really double check stuff. The budget name. We've got that truncating because we learned about that last time, and that's set to fixed. Maybe we can set that to hug instead. Same for the email. Okay. I think this looks good. And then these labels, these view tabs being set to fill look good, but let's go to the main component. These are also set to fill, so Shouldn't have had to have overridden that. They're in a frame though. So these would be like tabs. And tabs should be set to fill. Can I reset certain things? Okay. These ones are just loose, but they're also set to fill. That makes sense. So are their labels. Cool. Okay, so why does that look so... I kind of want to build it from scratch again. Okay, so we need another one of these. We're going to call it true for the variant. And we know it's going to have a fixed width of 55 pixels. And of course, a bunch of stuff gets messed up. So first, we know that some things... I wonder if hiding the layers is not the way to go. Let's look at... like, stuff really just, like, flips off. Oh, and you can see it in this, like, you know, this budget tab that we're on that's selected. Okay, like, let's actually do that for one. Let's say budget is active. Right? Like, as this... Yeah. Okay. So, like, stuff just, let's just say, like, 0% opacity. Well, no, we don't want that because we need to, like, center align some stuff. So, here's what needs to happen. And let's just work top to bottom. So, first, logo container. Well, actually, and these, oh, okay. Let's, yeah, top to bottom. Let's just take it piece by piece. So this has some padding, 6 pixels on top and bottom. We'll call it 7. These things get hidden, right? Great. And so now this guy, this is probably also going to lose. It's padding, everything is centered. Great. So that's what that looks like. This, everything else is also going to get centered. The items within it will do the same. We're going to hide their labels. That looks good, but they're off. And that's because we've got this weird padding going on. We'll keep the top and bottom margin. These just straight up go away. Hide, right? And then in here, all that's left, we get rid of our referral. This is center aligned. Yeah, as it would be. And when it shrinks down to 55 pixels, that's what it looks like. So when we test this out for real, and we start a new flow, oh, dang it. I broke my prototyping connections when I started this over. So we got to do on click, smart animate, click smart animate, and we are using the wrong icon. We want expand. Okay, what if I speed up the animation? Let's do the standard 300 and see what that looks like. I think it's better than the last one, but it's still odd. And let's just do in and out for the easing. I'm all right with it for now. We'll keep it for now. I think with that, the sidebar component is done. This chunk, 5 sessions later, and I recognize the first 2.5 were all about collecting styles. So really, after 2.5 more, we've got a working component for this space. I'm missing, there's some hover states here. I wonder if these should just, okay, let's do those real quick. Let's think about that, because I really want to like call this done and feel like I'm telling the truth about that. So we've got these same pieces. Well, these, no, we've got this. We've got it set up. These button labels, these view tabs. I just think we're missing our prototyping connections. Yeah, that's it. While hovering. Oh my god, it's literally that simple. Yeah, get a new instance of this. Flow. But it should be instant. Yeah, not smart animate over here. Instant. Blam. That doesn't look like the right color though. Feel 700. Let's just edit that. No, it still looks bad. Okay, so, well, RIP to that color. We can fine tune it. It's more like this. But anyway, yeah, testing out. We need what is the space between on these guys? Flex. It looks like double whatever that is. So what have we got in here for? So let's, on this one, keep 8 pixels of on our container. 8, and these are in a group, so those are their own thing. So now, great. Oh my god. Oh, it's a bad day for prototyping. Yeah, that's messed up. Something's going on, like the double icons and like Hold on. Reset. That's so weird. It was working a minute ago. Yeah, I think, I don't know. I could restart Figma and see. But I'm satisfied with this. I think for a first go, like there's totally opportunity to fine tune and refine. What did I mention? I think I've got a little bit more icon collecting to do. And there was something else I was going to research. That's right, the duotone icons. I'm going to find the thread from that person who showed up in my feed. If I find that, I'll try and remember to include a link in this video after it gets posted. But yeah, this is great. What, real quick, going back to this other view. Oops. I feel like next I'll probably go around in the same order I did at the start, where the next section to tackle is going to be this bar at the top, which should be a lot simpler, but we're going to start getting into like these overlays and like components like this or this calendar picker that are definitely a lot more complicated. Yeah, this is good to know about. You know, this thing has a bunch of different states. So I think we're going to actually have to change some of our button data or budget data, as it were, to see those different states. But I'm really excited and satisfied to have this chunk done. Yeah, as always, if you know, you want to join me live for one of these, ask questions, you know, kind of participate in the build. If you subscribe, you'll get notified when I schedule streams. I try to give at least like a couple days advance notice, tend to do weekends, I think has been sort of the pattern. But yeah, otherwise you can find me around the web, usually like in Figma's forum. I tweet about, you know, component building strategies. I'm writing about them. You saw that blog post. And would love to know if anything, you know, this material that I'm putting out is helping anybody else work faster, better, with more joy in Figma. That's the goal, at least. I have a lot of fun doing this stuff. I find these working methods useful. It would be just stellar if that was also the case for other people. But time will tell. We'll see. We'll see.